Oh, hey team, how's it going? I just I waited for the kids to leave. They all went to their grandmother's house. So I just wanted to make a quick video, just I guess to express my thoughts and I guess give you some give everyone bullet points and also to clear the air, right? So yeah, I kind of feel to a certain extent like at fault, but I know that anytime I'm making a move and things are working out, I like helping people because I always say the good energy that you put out there in the universe, you'll get that back, and it'll return to you, and hopefully you make connections with other people that eventually can help you get ahead. Because I know at the end of the day, we're just all trying to get ahead and help each other. But yeah, so I know it's not about me, but just a quick run through. So I started doing Turo first, and my whole plan was to get newer vehicles, right? With no money down, and basically use them, abuse them, and then get rid of them, so that the minute that I have the car, it's just making me money. And I was planning on getting rid of them, let's say within the first year, because I know that at that point it'll hold some value. And hopefully I can either walk away breaking even. So let's say I wouldn't have to come out of pocket, to cover, let's say, the difference in between what I owe and what the car is being bought for. And that's something that I'm still right now trying to see. I'm trying to explore those options, because the last thing I wanted to do was to get a used car, like in our case, right? But it's because we also need to make sure, like, we have to be aware and understand what we can afford. So I get it. Maybe we couldn't afford a brand new car with 0 miles, because there's pros and cons to both. Having newer cars like I have, I don't have to worry about the maintenance, but I have a higher overhead. But because the car is newer, I can rent it at a higher daily price. So yeah, there's pros and cons, but I have to also think about how to time it right so that I can get rid of them and walk away, hopefully breaking even. Or if I have to come out of pocket to pay the difference, it isn't that much. But with in the case of MNWI, we have used cars, and I told Zenny about it. I said, the type of client that the customer base that we're going to be tailoring to is a different customer base that I'm tailoring to. I have Suburbans. I have 2021 Suburbans. So, I can rent them at a higher rate, daily rate. And I don't have to worry about the season, because you can use those vehicles in the winter and summer. So, I understand that maybe we couldn't make a move that big, but at least this was good to try it out. I like the concept of Toro because it's proven and it works. We don't have to hassle about getting paid. Toro, as long as you follow and do your, do your due diligence on each trip, just to make sure that you take all your pictures, take your pre-trip pictures and your post-trip pictures, you're good. You're going to be covered. So I understand where Zenny is coming from, because I get it. I also got into this knowing that I'm dealing with an asset that is is depreciating faster at a much faster rate, because it's getting utilized more. But my plan was that, to buy them, use them for 1 year, then get rid of them, and continue that process, so I don't have to worry about maintenance. So I did give there's other links that I gave Zenny to look into, and hopefully the numbers will come out a little bit higher, so that maybe we don't have to come out of pocket too much. Or maybe, who knows, maybe we'll walk away breaking even. But the last thing that I also want everyone to know is that, I never want to do anything or make a move where it's going to impact anyone negatively, right? And especially, I know Zenny calls you tragic, so I'm just going to say tragic. I understand that your credit is being utilized to get, I believe, is the Ultima. So yeah, to avoid having your credit take a hit, we're just looking at the numbers to see how much we can sell it for, and then whatever difference it is, see how we can how we can figure out on how to get that paid. Like I said, there's no penalties in, let's say, selling this car, right? As long as we don't return it to the same dealership. But if we can sell it to a third party company, or let's say another person outside of the dealership, your credit score is not going to have a negative, let's say, impact, because the loan is still getting paid. The bank is going to be losing out because the bank, they're not going to be making the money they thought they were going to make, right? Because eventually the length of the term, we're not lasting the full length of the term. I'm going to try to make this short too. So with that being said, yeah, we're trying to do this so that if we can sell the vehicle, we can somehow see how we can pay the difference so that your credit score doesn't get impacted negatively, and you're still good. The only thing, I know you mentioned that your score was going down, but that's the problem with your credit. In order for you to get credit, you have to use credit. You have to apply for credit. And then every time you apply for credit, they run an inquiry that drops your points a couple, not by a lot, but it drops, your points as you're running inquiries. And the way that it'll go back up is by making the payments and making sure that you're never late and just using your credit responsibly. Now, what I was trying to say is that, so let's say if we do figure out how to sell the car and then pay off the difference and have that account paid in full, your credit is still going to take a little dip, which is normal because you're closing an account. So anytime you close an account, regardless if that account had excellent payment history, because of the fact that you're closing an account, it's going to drop your score. That always happens. That happens when I finish paying the Jeep Cherokee. The account, I was never late, and I lasted the full length of the loan, and it dropped after the account closed, but then it went back up in time. And that happens too when I sold the property, with real estate. Because you're closing an account, it always takes a hit. But it'll be worse if the account is closed due to, let's say, derogatory payments, or that the account went to default, in default status. That's something totally different. So yeah, I do want to keep doing Turo because like I said, the concept is proven. I was just talking to Zenny back and forth, when I was running the numbers for me, and I said, damn, the way that this works is if we can figure out a way to get cars at a real like cheap discounted price, because that'll decrease our overhead. So maybe we could be renting the vehicles at a lower daily rate, but because we barely have any overhead, that's more profit for us. So that, I was telling him about hopefully trying to see if we can get cars in auctions, or even getting vehicles, I know it's going to sound kind of weird, but that are crashed, right? Because some cars, they get wrecked and they're brand new cars. But now the barrier to entry on that is that you need capital up front. So for instance, let's say if we can get a brand new car, right, that's that's crashed, all in at $10,000, then that's the problem. We have to see how we can come up with $10,000. But I don't regret doing Turo at all, because you live and you learn. And I'm like, okay, at least I feel that I'm, making steps to hopefully, putting ourselves in a better financial situation and learning. We always constantly have to keep learning. And I feel that what we've learned so far, I think, is so valuable that we can honestly say that Turo works, right? Because we did it. The only thing is that we're trying to see is how we can perfect it. And I think that's where we're trying to explore the options of buying cars, let's say at a dealership, at an auction, or maybe as at these other places that sell vehicles that are crashed. But you're gonna take a risk, and that's another thing. Any venture that you do, there's always risks involved. I get it that you kind of want to minimize the risks. So what we do at that point, you strategize, you do your analysis, but there's no way that you can jump into something that's risk-free. That will, if it is, that's a scam, because that does not exist. You know, everything in this life has risks. Everything, even your job, you can they can let you go. They can close your position. They can close the department. They can do so many things, right? So, you know, I don't have any regrets. I've been through a lot. Zenny knows, you know, he knows this, but I don't want to make this about me. But all in all, I just want to help the team, and I feel that, I guess right now, if we get rid of the vehicles, I think, and I'm siding with that vote, because the more miles that we put on these vehicles, I get it. The bigger the risk that we're running into when it comes time to get rid of the vehicle, because then that's gonna put up in a bigger hole, in a much bigger hole, because as they stay on the platform, more miles are getting accumulated, meaning that the car, now we can only sell it for less money. So that means that we have a bigger gap to fill, you know, to hopefully pay the loan in full. But I vote yes. I know Kalila, I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing the name. I know you said you wanted to give it a fighting chance just to see if it works. And what I want to say is that it does work. We just have to perfect the way of getting cars into the platform. Like I said, with a cheaper barrier to entry. And I like the idea of, let's say, taking it to another state. But then again, PA has rougher and I feel stronger snowstorms than Jersey. And we have cars. We don't have SUVs. If we had SUVs, then maybe that might entice, I guess, my vote to, like, you know, let's give it a try. But I know that the winters in PA are much harsher than the ones in Jersey. So that's, you know, that's my vote. Those are my reasons. Like I said, I always want to look for a solution that makes sense for the whole team. And the last thing I want to do is make a decision where it's going to impact any of the team members negatively. So, you know, I feel that sometimes through text messages, you know, maybe the point that you're trying to get across might not come out the way that you want it, or it might get interpreted differently. But I hear you. That's the last thing I want to do. Like I said, I don't want to make a decision or a move that's going to potentially hurt any of the members or, you know, anyone's credit, because trust me, I know about that. That is so important. And hopefully this is some, you know, this video can bring some type of value, or maybe, you know, make you, you know, now you guys can see where I'm coming from in my point of view. And yeah, hopefully I still want to get together with Zenny and maybe a Tragic, just to see what's the smartest, you know, solution. So you know, I know we're always going to be facing obstacles, because I do that every day and everything that I do. So I just figure out, you know, okay, you know, we're running into an obstacle, so then how are we going to overcome it? That's my attitude. Like, that's the way I see things. I need to see how we can just find a solution. We can't get hooked up on the problem, right? We have to just push forward. So I'm sorry that this is like 13 minutes and a half, but that's my take. And hopefully this video helps. And yeah, hopefully we can come out, you know, we can figure out a solution where we can all walk away happy, right? So yeah, that's those are my thoughts. And yeah, I hope I was able to make my point across. All right, I'll talk to you guys. Bye-bye.